Welcome to Advanced Technical Concepts. Come with me on a lean tour. Here at ATC, we design, assemble, fabricate and manufacture workspace solutions. So everything from workbenches, flow racks, height adjustable desks, conveyors, etc. And you'll see that here on the floor. We are big believers in making work as simple as it can be, removing burden, creating flow, reducing friction. We were introduced to 2-second lean in February 2023, and in September of that year we were lucky enough to be invited to the 2-second lean conference being held in Northern Ireland. At that conference I decided that we absolutely had to implement 2-second lean. We had been practicing what I call traditional or corporate lean up until then, and whilst we had had some success, we were finding it difficult to sustain in the sense of getting people to actually think in lean terms when it came to challenges. So we started our morning meetings in October of 2023, and we slowly but surely introduced exercises in gratitude. But what we did there was we tried to take as many of the team to see the likes of seating matters or admin steel sheds and see 2-second lean in practice, so that everything wasn't so strange when we did introduce it. So I'm here on the floor in the modular build area. This is where we build and assemble conveyors, flow racks, what you can see here on the floor. I'm with Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Well, how's things?
Kyle, will you tell us a little bit maybe about our stop and fix system and what difference it's made to your day to day?
Yeah, so I suppose I started 2.5 years ago here. We hadn't implemented it yet. I suppose back then everything was kind of more of a one-off kind of a product, as now, you know, we're trying to make multiple of the same stuff. So like if something went wrong back then, you kind of fixed it there and then on the spot. That was how we dealt with our problems. But we've introduced our stop and fix now. So if anything goes wrong, we'll know our stop and fix. The QC team will come along at the end of it. They'll take notes of it, then it'll be sent straight off to our design team. So then when we do get a repeatable order again, anything that we've noted will be fixed then on it, and then there should be no issues then on the repeat order. And this just saves a load of time, because like that, even if something was unique and we got it back the next time, we're back to square one. We're wasting 5 minutes, 10 minutes, could be up to half an hour, you know. It could be something like cutting a whole new board and saving money on cutting 2 boards now, you know. So it makes a huge difference to us all in here.
Brilliant, thanks Kyle.
No worries.
Tony was here before we started doing 2-second lean, so Tony, I wonder, can we get your thoughts on what it was like here before?
Yeah.
And be as honest as you want, because that's what we appreciate.
Yeah. I suppose really lean has changed a lot of things for us here, from the way we organise to the way we plan to the way we actually take out and do the jobs each day. So we've kind of found, what would I call them, blocks in the system or on the line, so to speak, and we tried to fix them straight away. But by doing that, lean kind of incorporated us to kind of, what would I say, I've my own personality to try and fix and improve my own stations. If what actually stops me or slows me down in the day, I find now I don't need to maybe speak to you as much, Mary. You give me the ability to try and fix it myself, which I think before here, I might have had to talk to 2 or 3 people about a problem, but now I can actually go about it, fix it myself, and actually do it in a way that suits me, the person that's actually doing the job, which I think is a great advantage that other companies don't have. In other ways, I think our planning, our structure of our jobs, our laying out our parts, all that stuff has gone tenfold improved because we're planning it better from the start. And I think all that has been brought in through the lean scenario. We're thinking about things that we wouldn't have thought about before, which also helps us. So I think really and truly lean has improved standard flow in many ways we can all see, but visually our place here is of a different standard, I think, because of lean. And that's just some of the parts of lean, really. Right. Visual is one, obviously production and flow are other things that we're working on, but like I find that it has improved us. I couldn't even give you a percent, Mary, tell you the truth, but flow is a lot better.
Great, thanks Tony. We have also been very focused on getting our shelving on wheels. So before we had a lot of static shelving, and the issue with that was that the shelves themselves were not flexible. You couldn't increase or decrease the spacing. So we had a much bigger footprint. In fact, our stores used to come out as far as that faded red line there. Now we have been able to build or shelving to suit our needs. So we've built with blue flow tube, what many of you might know as Gemba pipe, and we've been able to have the shelving at the different sizes that suit our needs. And that is very, very flexible. So if something changes, we can increase or decrease the shelving space. So the objective was, when we were building these, just to try and remove the air or the light so that we're optimizing the space. We also have these point of use trolleys. We use these for kitting. And when a project is ready to go, they're brought to the point of use. We have these sort of kitting trolleys here for all the cuts that are being made for a project, and I'll show you one in action down here. We even have this jig, for example, on wheels, so that it can be brought again to where the parts are being checked. So here you have a kitting trolley for tubing lengths. So in this case, as the parts are being cut, the different lengths are put on a different shelf there. And then once the parts are kitted, they'll be brought again to the operator so that they can start that build. Here with Mike, who's over production. Hi, Mike.
Very.
So, Mike, you might tell us a little bit about how we focused on removing the burden and the friction for the floor, and particularly how you standardised a lot of the parts. So I think before you might tell us how many parts there were for builds.
Yes, I'd say approximately 250, 300 parts maybe across the different materials and finishes on them. So we brought that down to approximately 15 to 20 per finish and material, so no more than about 60 parts. So by doing that, we're able to hold better stocks of them. Our guys on the floor were much more familiar, so they had less frustration with trying to fit parts they weren't familiar with, kept them to the most common standard 15 or so parts in each one. From that, just made our designs flow much quicker, much easier, simpler. Better stock levels, so our Kanban cards work much better now with our standard parts. So then from that, we're able to design our configurator, so customers can use it and design their own product. Now, we wouldn't have been able to do that with over 200 parts, it just wouldn't have been possible.
So this is our design configurator. So you can scroll down and you can see what the different types of categories that are available to customize. So let's say you are looking for, we'll say, a flow rack. So you go in here and you pick this, you hit customize, and you have an option of either putting your dimensions in here manually. So you can change that, for example, to 1,000. Oops, not 10,000. And then, or you can use, we have sliders down here, you can adjust manually up and down, etc. And for example, you can add 5 shelves, and you can decide you want it in black ESD tubing. So again, it's just to show the possibilities of what you can do, and you simply add to your cart and get your quote. And you can visualize it then, you can get a bird's eye view if you wish, just to make sure it is what you're looking for. This is our canteen. It's where we sometimes have our morning meetings. We also have a location on the floor. As you can see, the canteen, we've built it using our own product, but more importantly, we've tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. For example, if you look at our table, you can see at a glance where you get your knives, forks, etc. Also, we've put the table on wheels, which is fantastic. When the place needs a deep clean, it can easily be removed. Over here then we have our improvement tracker. This was an idea we got from Seating Matters. And again, if someone has an improvement as a result of a discussion at one of our morning meetings, a card will get written up and that'll get acted on in due course. So where we have our library on wheels too, with some excellent books. And over here then we have again the possibility to write up things during the meeting if there's a particular discussion that requires that. You have your rota for the morning meetings here. We also do an AI learning club or coffee and learning with AI every 2 weeks. And then you have here the Gemba doc on how actually to clean the canteen, the different teams that are on. So we do teams that are a mix of different people. And over here then we have, this was inspired by Pablo Scarpati, Lean Make Practical, how we work at ATC. So again, just all part of reinforcing the language and the behaviours that we're looking for here at ATC. So I'm here with Dave and Barry. Hi guys. I'm just going to get their impressions on Lean. So Barry, you're with us just a few weeks now.
I am, yeah.
And had you ever come across Lean before?
No, I never came across it before.
So can we ask, what are your first impressions?
No, I like it. It makes life a lot easier, a lot handier to work. The likes of the Kanban and all that, it just makes everything a lot easier. I'm not walking around the place looking for stuff. So.
And did you think we were crazy when you first arrived?
But,
what did you think of the morning meetings?
No, they're interesting. Yeah, no, they're good. As you said, like it helps everybody in the place. You know, it's any grievances or any problems with any of the work. So you know, it actually does work.
Brilliant.
You know, I'm coming from where we never did any of that. Like you were just given a job in the morning, and if anything happens at the end of the day, then there'll be, you know, war over it. Like, but here everything is sorted, stop and go. Is very good, you know.
Brilliant, great. And Dave, you were here before we did 2 Second Lean.
That's right,
so
yes, Mary.
Tell us about your impressions from before and after.
Oh, sure, it's chalk and cheese, Mary. Where I noticed it, and we work with mechanical, so where I noticed the big difference is in the Kanban system, and I'm not waiting for parts anymore. Parts are there to hand when I need them and as I need them. And traceability and the meetings in the morning and stuff like that, and everyone knows what everyone is doing and how things are going. Like,
great.
Okay.
Would you go back?
No, you couldn't go back to where we were. No, because there's too much. But it's easy to pan stuff, and now we have a system and it works, and we stick with it.
Brilliant.
Here at ATC, we used to have a cutting system. You get all your lengths, your quantities, and what tube you actually need to cut. So we had a look at it, had a thought about it, upgraded it a small bit. So what we've done is, we've got cut lists now that actually give us the maximum we can get out of each pole. So 4 meters is broke down into the exact amount of cuts and the least amount of waste. So the new cut list, it shows you the length, each one is 4 meters. It shows you the first cut you can do, the second cut you can do, and then you remove that. Down here it shows you what lengths you've left over and what cuts you'll get out of each one. So from the very start, I know I need 28 meters of tubing, and I can tell exactly how much waste I'll have at the very end. So when I start a job and finish a job, it can tell me exactly how much meters it uses and exactly how much waste I'll have at the very, very end. So waste is down to 2.7%. Another step in our lean journey is obviously we introduced 3S. So we always do our 3S every day. So we thought about it and we had an improvement on an improvement. So we created a 3S total ownership schedule. So if I come in here on any day of the week, I can walk up, press this, find my initials. There we are. My tasks for each day, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, are all here, right in front of us. So it eliminates really thought each day that you know exactly what you're doing on a 3S. So it's beneficial in time-wise and also gives us a clear schedule for the week.
So we're here in our fabrication department. I'm with Jaskaran. Hi, Jaskaran.
Hi, Mary.
Jaskaran is a welder, and
Yes,
Jaskaran, you're with us about 1.5 years?
Yeah, it's about 1.5 years. And when I joined the ATC, I didn't hear anything about the lean. And then when I came here, then I saw very new things about the lean and how we organize the thing, and it changed my life and it made my life very easy. And you know, if we follow the lean, so we can do our products very easy way. Like, so for example, when I was welding these corners here and the customer need the purging inside here, so we came out with this solution. We made a jig for the purging inside those plates. And same as when we find our tools, so sometimes the people work here, they put their tools here and there. So we made a place for the tools here. So when I came up with a plan, we made this cutout of the tools. So every tool has its own place here. So main benefit of this is that we can know if something is missing and they're like, the mallet is missing. So I know the mallet is missing here. So every tool has its own marks and labels here, the measuring tape, the grinder, so we know where thing goes. This is our tool board here. So we have all the tools hanging on this tool board with the pictures on it. And we also have the currently being used by car. For example, this drill is used by Tony Kennedy and he has put his initial on it. If we want to know where it is, we know where to go. So that's how Lean made our life very easy and less of defects. So it's very good. Like I found it very nice here. Like, yeah, I never experienced a Lean before in my life, so it's very good here.
Could you imagine working in a non-Lean organization now?
Yeah. No, I won't. I won't now, because whenever I work, I will work in a Lean.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It saves our time. Like every day, for example, if I want to find any tool, I probably waste 5 minutes to find something. If we add up these 5 minutes for a year, like, so in 5 days it will be 25 minutes, and in 1 week it will be more multiply hours of time that we can save if we follow the Lean. So
exactly.
that's very nice.
Everything in its place.
Yeah, everything is in place.
And what struck me with the tool board is where you ask the question, so you know who has the tool if it is a common tool and you need it. And what I really liked as well was in your drawer, everything has a green sticker, and your workstation is the green workstation, workstation 4.
We had labeled our workstations, like this one is green, that one is blue, that one is red. So we labeled our tool with the same color, so we know this is our tool, this is his tool, so it can
you know
be
which
mixed
workstation it belongs to.
belongs
Excellent. Jasker, that's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So Mike, you might walk us through how we work around total ownership here.
I will indeed, Mary. Hi, how's it going? Here we have total ownership on certain machinery, and this is one of the machines. It is a laser machine, and this is our total ownership here. And as you can see, my name, Mike Warren, here is on it. Laser machine designation number, service dates, and this is our contacts for certain problems if we come across the machine. Now here I've noticed that, which is an absolute privilege, the trust that our management gives us in this company is, if something happens to this machine, I'm given total responsibility to take it upon myself to get it fixed. And I don't have to follow up to management or upper management waiting for a response to come back to solve the situation. I can get it solved straight away. And we did come recently across this situation not too long ago where the machine software wouldn't respond. I made a phone call, contacted the right people, they got it sorted and in hand. When we have our normal morning meetings then, and there's any quality issues or arose, I just mention it. They don't have to worry about it. They trust me to figure it out and get it done. This is one of the things that is part of Lean, which is a very, very big thing in it, is trust. And ownership of certain machinery gives you the freedom to sort out problems when they arise without having to waste all the time and everyone else's time on trying to get the problem fixed.
So here at ATC, we don't just use Lean on the manufacturing floor. In fact, we've had a huge amount of success in the offices, and I'm here in finance with Jack. Hi, Jack.
Yeah, right.
Jack, you might give us a little bit of an idea of what it was like here before we did Lean.
Yeah, so I think perhaps before we started looking at Lean, I would say there was a lot more manual processes, things were less organised. I don't want to say chaotic, but you know, everything seemed to take longer and probably felt under a bit more pressure with daily work and that.
And how I suppose, did we look at identifying waste?
So one day we just went into the boardroom and myself and Carol, we went at the whiteboard and we just started writing down our tasks, and we looked at those and kind of thought, what can we automate or streamline and what can we improve on? And we ended up filling up the whiteboard and just started working our way through them kind of one by one to make them better and easier.
Excellent. And can you give us one example of one of those that you have streamlined?
Yeah, I would say the biggest win that I can think of would be our intrastat. So that's our monthly intrastat return, total non-value add just for compliance. And we were finding this was a very manual process. It was taking about 4 hours each month, so about 48 hours in a year. We'd done an A3 project on that and we managed to reduce it down to 15 minutes a month. So massive saving.
Excellent. Yeah. So from more than a week's work down to 3 hours
down
a year.
To 3 hours in a year.
That's phenomenal. And can I ask, what are you working on at the moment? What's next for you?
So this morning I am right now I've got AI writing a macro for me, and I'm doing a Gemba doc on it to show everyone else how to do it. And that's what I'm at, and we're looking at using AI a lot more in here for kind of automation and looking at agents and stuff like that.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah,
really
no worries.
appreciate it. So I'm here in the office and I'm with Sandra. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Mary.
I'm going to ask Sandra to tell us a little bit about FreeScout, which is something that we've recently introduced to improve flow.
So as you said, we've recently introduced FreeScout. So we've had, I'd say, about 2 weeks where we have started using it. And what I really like about this is you can assign inquiries that come in to individuals. You can assign them to the individual. So at any point in time, you know who has the next action. And again, it ties into where you ask the questions, where our answer should be. So hopefully by doing all this, it limits you having to go around asking where is the next action, etc. The detail is already in there. And you can also put in notes so you know what the next move will be, who you have to follow up with, etc. We have an example here. You can tag them. It shows where you have customers, or if they're inquiries, or if it was a pro forma that was needed, or a production pack.
So much of an improvement on flow and where you ask the question.
Exactly. And the main aim is that you're, from a customer's point of view, that the time going back to the customer will be improved. So that would be the main aim of FreeScout. So one of the biggest time savings that we have here in the office is the introduction of the bar scanner. And I'm just going to walk you through how this functions. So we use Gemba docs for our Kanban cards. And on the back of the card, there is a URL. So we'll show you here on our SAP system, so you open up the supplier, your business partner that you want to send the order to. You simply take the card and you take the scanner and you scan the back like so. The detail automatically populates onto the purchase order here, and the only thing you have to enter in is the quantity. So if you've multiple items, it's really a time-saving exercise. Otherwise, you would have been typing 7 digits each time, and we would have anything up to maybe 15, 16 items in one go when you're ordering with this particular business partner. So it's a great time saver, and it removes the human error as well.
So I hope that gives you a great overview of what we do here at ATC. We have open doors, so come and visit. Lean is very much part of how we operate every day. Thanks for watching.